In the present day, in Paris, the movie opens. Diana Prince enters the Louvre as Wayne Enterprises' vehicle approaches. A briefcase sent by Bruce Wayne is delivered to her. A vintage photo of Diana and 4 guys taken during World War I is within. A note from Bruce requesting the narrative behind the image is included with the photograph. Diana was raised on the island of Themyscira alongside the mighty Amazons. She observes the soldiers undergoing General Antiope's field training. Diana aspires to become a fighter like the other Amazons, but her mother, Queen Hippolyta, forbids it. Diana is accompanied by Hippolyta, who narrates the tale of the gods to her. Zeus was the ruler of the skies, and held humanity in high regard, while Ares, the god of war, attempted to corrupt humanity and incite people to engage in violent conflict. The other gods opposed Ares, but they were all murdered by him. Zeus, who was casting Ares into the world of men with his last breaths, also created a weapon that could end Ares' existence forever. He also offered the Amazons a place to live on Themyscira, so the rest of the world wouldn't know about them. Diana is shown the deadly sword known as the God Killer by Hippolyta. It can be used to kill Ares, but Hippolyta hopes that neither Diana nor anyone else will ever possess it. Antiope convinces Hippolyta to allow her to train Diana because everyone is aware that Ares is still alive. She wants Diana to be prepared to meet Ares. Hippolyta consents grudgingly. Diana is put through years of rigorous and demanding field training by Antiope. Diana keeps working to become as fearsome as the other Amazons as she gets older. Antiope pushes Diana hard during one of their swordplay sessions, which forces Diana to defend herself by shielding the sword with her gauntlets. Antiope is forced to fly back as a result, hurting herself. Diana expresses deep regret for harming Antiope. Antiope doesn't seem at all sad as she departs in humiliation. Diana sprints for the cliff. A plane crashes into the ocean in the distance as it enters Themyscira through the barrier. Diana plunges into the ocean and makes her way to the aircraft. Steve Trevor, a pilot, is capsized because he is unable to remove himself from his seat. Diana yanks him off the aircraft and transports him to land. German soldiers pursuing Steve also pass through the barrier, and she becomes startled to see a guy for the first time. As the Amazons arrive, they notice the Germans in addition to Diana and Steve. The Germans aim their rifles while the Amazons prepare their arrows. Shots are fired as the arrows are released. The Germans reach the shore and engage the Amazons in combat. The Germans are quickly defeated while several Amazons are killed by gunfire. To kill 3 soldiers, Antiope shoots 3 arrows simultaneously. Diana is the target of a soldier's gunshot as Antiope rushes in to take the hit. Diana runs to help Antiope. She instructs Diana to use the God Killer as she passes away. The lasso of truth is used to question Steve in front of all the Amazons. He is compelled to admit that he is an Allied forces spy. Steve tells the Amazons about World War I and how he came to discover an evil scheme by General Erich Ludendorff of Germany and his top chemist, Dr. Isabelle Marou, alias Dr. Poison. The new bioweapon they are creating, which Steve asserts is unlike anything he has ever seen, puts the Amazons in greater danger than they understand. Before snatching Marou's notepad and fleeing as he destroyed the Germans' other planes, Steve pretended to be a spy in the German army. The Germans eventually caught up with him on the island. Diana understands that this is the task of Ares. Steve is permitted to refresh himself by taking a bath in the Amazons' fountain. He's naked when Diana accidentally stumbles in. When she inquires as to what that is, Steve replies that it is his father's watch, which he claims to follow to inform him of his daily schedule. Diana is perplexed by the tool and how it works. Diana seizes her shield, lasso, and God-Killer sword from its grasp before maintaining her conviction that Ares is responsible for the unending war. She also removes her battle gear. She walks over to Steve to offer to help him get home in exchange for taking her to Ares. Hippolyta and other Amazons approach the two as they are heading for the shore. Diana is adamant that she go there to confront Ares and put an end to the conflict. In a final emotional embrace, Hippolyta tells her daughter that, while she has always been her greatest love, she is now also her greatest sorrow. Hippolyta discloses to an Amazon as Diana and Steve leave that Diana can't know who she is or that Ares will locate her sooner. Steve and Diana visit London. The two meet with Etta Candy, Steve's secretary. Before they can give Steve's superiors Marou's notepad, they purchase Diana a suitable dress so she can fit in for the moment. The men then surround Diana and Steve in an alley. They pull out their weapons, but Diana defeats them all, even helping Steve knock out the final man. Marou and Ludendorff have a meeting in her lab. To help the general maintain his tremendous strength, she has created a new kind of gas. Marou then notices a formula on her table and believes it to be the solution they have been seeking. Diana and Steve proceed to Sir Patrick Morgan's meeting, where he is preparing to discuss an armistice with Germany. Diana's appearance quickly diverts the attention of the men in the room. She must be led outdoors by Steve. He then gives Sir Patrick the notebook. The writing is in Sumerian, so Steve requests that Diana interpret it for the other men because she is multilingual. They discover that Ludendorff and Maru intend to develop a new variety of mustard gas based on hydrogen that will be far more deadly to the soldiers. Diana feels furious upon learning that the British general intends to send his troops to the Western Front, where they will almost certainly perish, and she informs the general that an effective administrator would fight alongside his men. Diana tells Steve that she suspects Ludendorff is Ares in disguise, as he is being pulled out once more by Steve. Diana is informed by Steve that he will personally convey her to the front. Diana was brought by Steve to meet his teammates. They initially make a pit stop at a bar, where Samir, a spy, can't help but fall for Diana. Charlie is the next, a superb marksman according to Steve, but they discover him being beaten up by another man after mistakenly grabbing his glass. Diana steps in and knocks the man down as he tries to shoot Charlie. The four then leave to meet a smuggler named the Chief. To discuss his plans, Ludendorff gathers some of his allies. After they express skepticism and lack of trust in their job, Ludendorff and Maru show off their accomplishment by hurling the gas bomb into the room, killing all the men. The group arrives at the front. Diana converses with a local woman who is upset about what the German army has taken from them as they travel past the trenches. Diana puts on her tiara and enters the battlefield with her armor, because she can't wait any longer. She is fired upon by the German soldiers, but she easily prevents their shots with her gauntlets. Steve and his team follow Diana as she continues to subdue the hostile soldiers. The men assist Diana as she leaps to a sniper tower, where she immediately destroys it after killing the majority of the soldiers on the ground. Diana is praised and cheered by the locals. Later, Steve finds out that Ludendorff will be hosting a gala the next day. Steve requests that Etta find the location for him, but Sir Patrick cautions Steve against doing anything right away. Naturally, Steve ignores him. He then informs Diana of the gala and how unprepared she will be for it before teaching her how to dance. To have some privacy, they ascend to a room where they kiss. The squad disguises itself and travels to the gala. As they improvise entry without an invitation, Samir acts as Steve's driver as the two pose to be German officers. Diana locates an arrogant woman and takes her dress. Steve tries to charm Maru into telling him more, but he becomes uninterested when Diana walks in clad in the blue dress. When Diana spots Ludendorff, she prepares to murder him, but Steve intervenes to keep the strategy together. However, Ludendorff continues to bombard the surrounding town with gas bombs. Diana attempts to run ahead, but it is too late. She can only watch in horror as she observes the dead residents in the streets. Diana yells at Steve as he passes, because he didn't let her murder Ludendorff before this incident. It is discovered that Ludendorff intends to bombard London with several gas bombs using an aircraft. Diana hastily hurries to an airstrip where German troops are preparing for battle. Before going to Ludendorff, Diana defeats a few soldiers. He battles Diana after taking Maru's strong gas. Ludendorff fights valiantly until he climbs to the roof. Diana charges through and uses the God Killer to strike Ludendorff. Diana observes that the soldiers are still shoving gas bombs into the jet as he passes away. Diana is perplexed as to why the conflict hasn't ended after killing Ares when Steve shows up. According to Steve, there may not be a deity, but instead, there are wicked individuals in the world. Diana turns to take a look inside Ludendorff's office as he exits and sees Sir Patrick. Diana perceives that he is indeed Ares. He explains to Diana how he merely secretly helped those like Ludendorff and Maru get their task done. However, the war was caused by their evil as well as the darkness of other men. Ares destroys Diana's attempt to use his sword to kill him. He informs Diana that she is the actual tool that Zeus fashioned. She is the actual God Killer. Ares uses the lasso to demonstrate to Diana what will happen if she joins him in their mission to eradicate mankind. She declines and they start to fight. The team led by Steve defeats the Germans. The explosion would kill anyone within 50 yards if they tried to bring the jet down with gunfire. He commandeers the bomber and takes off in it. When Steve is sufficiently elevated, he points his gun at the bombs. He pauses to think about what he's doing, yet he is aware of his obligation. As the plane catches fire, he shoots the bombs, offering himself as a sacrifice. When Diana witnesses this, she screams in pain. Ares only uses this to try to get her to join him even more as he puts on his armor. Maru's deformed face is shown when Ares brings her before Diana and takes off her mask. He attempts to persuade Diana to murder her. Diana raises a tank, but she thinks back to what Steve had just said. He claimed she could save the world, but he could only save the day. Before boarding the aircraft, he told her he loved her. Diana lets Maru escape while she drops the tank. Diana affirms her belief in her love for Ares. Diana is hit by an energy bolt from Ares, but she absorbs it with her gauntlets and turns the energy back onto Ares, killing him completely. Then the soldiers are freed from their corruption. Diana then leaps across the sky to carry on with her duties. Thank you for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe.